The National Championships of Drag Racing, a showcase of the best drag racers in Australia. Headlining the 88 Nationals were the Nitro cars. From Victoria is the Australian Airlines Pontiac Trans Am of Jim Walton, who's looking for his 8th Australian title. From South Australia comes the Blue Thunder Camaro of Jeff Pratt, who's seeking his first Australian title. And competing at his first national championships was Bendigo's Robin Kirby in his future Prophet Camaro. And rounding out the funny car ranks is the dark horse and supposed underdogs of the field, the methanol-fueled Monza of Brisbane's Jim and Steve Reed. Those two-wheeled projectiles known as top bikes were led by US funny bike champion Mark Miller, riding a turbocharged Kawasaki, the fastest motorcycle in the world, having recorded a 6.9-second pass at Bristol, Tennessee some months before. Also competing in top bike against Mark Miller is the man who brought him from the States, Adelaide's John Hoskins, with Tommy Pete Allen riding the Hoskins-Allen Nitro Kawasaki. Bill Curry from Victoria, together with partner Steve Kitchen, were there with another nitro-fed Kawasaki. And to round out the quartet, the Honda-powered machine of Queensland's Dave McClurg. The ultimate indoor slammers, Pro Stockers, were represented by 7 racers from 4 states, with long-time Victorian Pro Stock campaigner Hans Van Dyke looking for his 2nd Nationals title in his Super Plus 350 Chev-powered Monaro. Debuting at the Nationals was the first non-Aussie bodied car in Pro Stock, the immaculate Ford Thunderbird of Wayne Daly. With 17 hours of qualifying on schedule, there were some surprises in store for the large crowd there to watch qualifying. Pro Stock was reduced to a 6-car field when South Australian Ross Vergara's Telstar was reduced to this mess after engine oil sprayed onto his tyres at 120 miles an hour. But with drag racing's stringent safety regulations, Ross suffered only minor injuries. Wayne Daly, in a dream debut for a new car, snatched top qualifying spot from Hans Van Dyke with a superb 8.94 to Van Dyke's 8.948. The field was rounded up by a troubled plague Adrian Kelly in his Chimera, who failed to put down a full pass. During Saturday's qualifying for top bike, Mark Miller had every reason for going in. He was well in front of the field with a 7.34, 180-mile-an-hour pass. But then around 9 o'clock, Dave McClurg arrived at the start line for his first qualifying pass.
.726, 206 mile an hour. Dave McClurg, whose best time prior to this was a 770, had just out-qualified the quickest motorcycle in the world and joined a small and exclusive group of motorcycle racers who would run in excess of 200 miles an hour down a drag strip.
Even though a compulsory qualifying pass was scheduled for Sunday, the funnies came out on Saturday night. After his earlier qualifier, Jim Walton was relaxed. A 6.20 at 221 miles an hour saw him comfortably in top spot.
We're really happy the way it's all coming together here. Like I said, around a 6.20 flat. We've got the engine pretty soft at the moment until the competition moves up. We don't really want to do anything too radical here. The name of the game is to win this event, and we could lean on it and run a 5 or something like that, but we don't do any damage. We just want to go out there and win this one and win it for my partner and all the boys that have helped us so much through the year.
So you're really aiming for an 8th title?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. We need to win this one. We've had an up and down sort of year. We've had a lot of hard time, had a lot of success as well. We've top qualified at many events, and to win this one would be the culmination of a season's hard work.
But Robin Kirby was having problems.
Yes, we went out for a non-compulsory qualifier and burnt out a bearing on the crankshaft, so rather than try and fix the other one, we put this other engine in instead.
So you're racing tomorrow?
Oh yeah, we'll be back together in about an hour.
Jeff Pratt was also having problems. He was trailing Steve Reed, who had rattled off a near-personal best of 6:68, 207 mile an hour, and was holding second spot behind Jim Walton. If Pratt couldn't beat Reed's time, he would have to face top qualifier Jim Walton in the first round.
Well, when you drive a funny car, you always have hairy rides, but what happened last night was we used Simpson anti-fog, and for some reason it didn't work this time. When I pulled my helmet visor down, everything was totally blank, and I saw the glowing of the lights at the tree, so I just left blind and just drove it until it got loose. And obviously one wheel ran off the edge of the track. I didn't think I hit the Armco, but I found out when I got back I'd kissed the Armco as well. So I just pulled the parachute and pulled up. When I pulled up, everything started to clear up, and I got out swiftly where I was.
And over at the Reed camp, crew chief Jim Reed was feeling at ease in their first outing among the Nitro cars.
I have with me Jim Reed, multinational champion, been racing for a lot of years. Jim, you go back how far?
Oh, I go back to 1965, and I raced from 1965 till 81 or 82, I think it was, before Stephen took over.
But back in the early days, it was Alder's, wasn't it? The famous Reed T-Buckets.
Yes, the old T-Buckets. He was a lot of fun. That was my favourite car, the T-Bucket.
And why was the step up made?
Oh, we just wanted to change. You know, we'd raced the T-Bucket for such a long time, and we thought, well, a funny car would be an exciting ride and something good to do.
With 7 supercharged cars and an entry list of 17, the Pacesetter Insurance Competition Eliminator field was one of the best fields for many years. Using the same tactic he employed to win the '84 Nationals, Townsville's Gary Phillips discarded his Oldsmobile funny car body in favour of a T-Bucket body for AA fuel altered class, putting him in a class with a more favourable record for handicapping. By close of qualifying, a number had dropped out for various reasons, with John Garlia's excursion into the start line guardrail with his T-Bucket, one of the more bizarre aspects of Saturday night qualifying. West Australian funny car racer Gary Majokovic, complete with largely handmade engine based around a big block Chev, was another favoured contender.
Dennis, here we have a typical sort of engine nowadays for a funny car running alcohol. This one's based on a big block Chevrolet, has custom aluminium cylinder heads, and the supercharger is also a custom one that we manufactured in our own race workshop.
You feel it's an advancement over what's available in the United States for big block Chevs?
That's an interesting comment. We have always thought that the American products were better because they produced more of them. However, flow bench figures that we have prove our cylinder heads flow extremely well, definitely as well as anything currently available.
And Victorian Double B altered driver Tom Easton's Warlord T-Bucket was one of the most popular cars in the bracket. But Tom may not be able to take the entire credit for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our state member, the Deputy Premier of Queensland, Mr. Bill Gunn.
Thank you, John. In September 1985, I had the honour of officially opening this track. I am delighted to be back today to start proceedings on the final day of the National Championships. I would like to take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to commend John and his committee on the improvements which have taken place since I first made my first visit. Willowbank Raceway Incorporated is a rather unique because it is a non-profit association. As a result, all the profits, ladies and gentlemen, are being poured back into the raceway. I'd like to wish all competitors luck in what I'm sure will be a spectacular day's racing. It gives me the greatest of pleasure to declare your carnival officially open.
As the sound of Advance Australia Fair faded, the funny cars of Reid and Kirby fired up for the final qualifying session. Queensland Deputy Premier Bill Gunn in the box seat for the action.
Well, Stephen took over gradually. I let him do the qualifying run at the meeting, and then I would race the meeting, and we gradually built Stephen up to take over full time, but it worked quite well because having the time to, you know, accustom himself with the car, it worked good.
And Robin Kirby from Victoria. Side by side to launch the 88 Nationals. Look for the yellow light, and then be one yellow on a green and go. One stage. Stephen Reid will now be staged. Waiting for the yellow. Is in. One yellow, one green. Stephen said, qualifying run for Stephen Reid. Yes, a 6.73 at 197 miles an hour. Put your hands together for Stephen Reid. Kirby with an 8.99, having a little trouble getting off the line. Stephen Reid confirming probably his second spot at this stage. Big burnout coming from Jimmy Walton in the Australian Airlines Pontiac Trans Am. Oh, and doesn't it sound nice and strong? Thank you very much. He said, I want the 8th title here. Oh, it goes a long way down too before he stops. Just about finished. And now, Jeff Pratt in the Blue Thunder from Adelaide, South Australia. 484, keeping its quick black. And crewing him, if you see the skip guy out there. That sounds pretty solid. They got a few builds in that. And Jim Reid, where is Blanky? Down here somewhere. That's young Steve. Young Jimmy Reid, the one skinny one down here with getting a bit of a paunch on him now. Former national fuel champion, never retired. Still out there, and I tell you what, you're looking good there, mate. Stand side on, we can see you now. And they've been working real hard today. Oh, here we go. Oh, dear me. I'm afraid you just failed your parking test there, Jeff. Dear me, he was heading off, and I tell you what, the guy that was steering Jim Walton back never even flinched, did he? Never even moved, just kept on steering. Just bringing him in. Son of Jim Reid. Bruce Reid. A little short burnout, I think. Just a little short one just to get ready. They're not quite sure. Jimmy's just a little bit concerned about it there. It's not running quite as well as they might hope for. Jimmy Walton and his crew looking very efficient out there in the Australian Airlines Jim Walton automatic sponsored car. Burlock Industries right behind it as well. There's nothing that sounds like a nitro car, is there? Jimmy Walton's going to move back in. Jeff Pratt in the Blue Thunder. I'll both come into stage now. Moving into stage for this, the qualifying run of Funny Car. Here they come. Reset. Okay, set to go. Wait for the stage lights to come on, then there'll be one yellow and a green and they'll both be gone. One in, two in.
So, first round pairings were Jim Walton to face Jeff Pratt, Steve Reid to face Robin Kirby. Round one of competition eliminator kicked off with low qualifier Gary Phillips on a bye, serving notice to the rest of the field just how serious he was.
Under the national record, a 6.91 at 199.55 miles an hour. Put your hands together for that one. 6.91, that's 1.19 under the national record, and the speed of 199 miles an hour.
And Tom Easton continued the dominance of the supercharged cars with an easy win over Gary Collins' Chevy-powered T-Bucket.
Way to the other end, and it's a good run for him, as straight as a die. He runs an 8:35, on a 7:65 record, 88.
Alan Gray in the Gray Brothers Silver Streak T-Bucket takes the win over Canberra's former multiple champion in modified eliminator, Graham Silk, looking to continue his winning ways with his move into competition eliminator. This time, his run is stopped by a red light start.
Red light to Graham Silk, he's gone first round. 3-9, he missed it by 100. Alan Gray gets the win and goes through the round. Graham Silk will not get the competition national title this year.
With scheduled opponent Larry Bazarnik unable to make the first round, Rod Marchand takes the bye. From Mackay in the north, the popular Cran and Meng Funny Car team introduced a new technique to competition eliminator, super stock style static burnouts, and uses it to dispose of Trevor Sullivan's injected Chev Drakester.
Tony Wedlock moving up. Wayne Daly as well. Heads up racing in Pro Stock. Pro Start, 1 yellow and a green. And they go.
With just 6 pro stocks left for the first round of the bracket, low qualifier Wayne Daly takes an easy win from Toowoomba's Tony Wedlock, who struck problems with the ex-Fred Dudek Tirana hatchback pro stocker.
Daly is in, waiting for Wedlock to move in. He's in and stays. And a red light there for Wedlock, so Daly can get a nice free run on his own. And the T-Bird goes through, and let's have a look at time. And 8.83, an 8.83 at 153 miles an hour is this car hauling. And a 10.59 at 102 miles an hour. That is under the national record.
Next pairing brought Hans Van Dyke and Sydney racer Joe Polito's Ford Cleveland-powered Cortina to the line. And Van Dyke's hopes of his second Nationals win just about ended then and there. Joe Polito red lights away a certain win and cruises, disappointed, onto the return road and wonders what might have been.
Had a coil wire under the dash, which I got here. It's a little bit short, and the actual firewall vibrated and pulled the power off the coil, so it turned the engine off. But I was fortunate Joe red lighted before that, so I still won.
Fair enough, so you've obviously remedied the problem.
Yeah, we put a piece of wire a foot longer.
Final pairing of the first round brought together 2 immaculate local cars, the Penrite Chimera of Adrian Kelly and the exclusive family cars Calais of Rob Tucker. And Kelly finds some bite in the track.
Waiting now for Robbie Tucker to move in the Calais. Heads up race. 1 yellow and a green and they're gone. Get up in the air.
Tucker takes the win and advances to a semi-final showdown with Van Dyke.
Same as qualifying yesterday, 150.75 miles an hour.
I have with me Mark Miller, current American national champion and holder of the world record for top fuel bikes. Mark, how's the bike running here?
Oh, the bike's running real well. We kind of went into the race real easy and soft on the motor, trying not to break anything because we have a limit of parts.
Tell me something about the bike.
The motorcycle's fuel-injected Kawasaki. It's turbocharged and runs alcohol and small amounts of nitromethane. At this race here, we haven't run any nitro in it because we don't really think we need it right now. We're going to be running alcohol today. The engine is 1,425 cc's. It's had a special-made crankshaft, special-made transmission. Most of the engine parts, the only thing that's stock on the engine is the engine cases. Everything else is pretty much aftermarket. We run a stock cylinder head, of course, but there's a lot of high-tech in these new bikes. Last night in qualifying, an Australian with a Honda out-qualified us. He qualified number 1. We're going back out today, and I think maybe we'll qualify number 1. We'll be in the number 1 spot.
A 7.18, which is just outside the US record of 7.12.
Meanwhile, Queensland Deputy Premier Bill Gunn was touring the pits and liking what he saw. Dave McClurg had suffered engine damage from that historic 206-mile-an-hour pass on Saturday night, and competition bike racer Dave Borum was recruited to fill in.
Mark Miller from the US. Lovely burnout from Mark. Dave. Miller lifts it off the ground and hauls his way down the track, trying to keep it down the track. Lane of 10-1-4. Peter Allen, living here in Brisbane now, riding the bike owned by John Sakian.
Bill Curry and Steve Kitchen couldn't repair their broken transmission, so Alan Bleisner made up the pairing against Pommy Pete Allen.
See how Alan goes against him. Oh, Alan Bleisner said, what am I going to do in this one? Goes down to the most other bike, gets to the other end, runs an 8:27 and will go into the final. A 9:66 for Bleisner, 156 miles an hour for Pommy Pete.
Competition eliminator moved into the quarterfinals.
Okay, coming in now, Markovic in the Speed Talk funny car, the Oldsmobile Starfire and Bond and Keats in the Albert from Townsville. 1 second start to the Bond and Keats car. Markovic all the way from Perth and looking for the title in competition. Competition, and the competition eliminator sponsored by Pacesetter Insurances. Gary Phillips on a bye in round 2 of competition. We'll definitely have to meet somebody next round unless there's a problem with another car, but eventually you've got to race somebody. When you get uneven fields, it can get to become a problem. Or it can be a nice problem for you if you like. Okay, coming up now. Around the corner, almost like a 680 new national record. I think it just about would be a top qualified.
Yeah.
With a what?
692.
First round?
691.
This round? Don't know yet, do you?
Yeah, probably an 88, I reckon. Had a guess.
You had problems on the run?
Yeah, I had problem with the visor on the run the previous round, and it cracked the visor, so I had to borrow a helmet, and the helmet hit on the roll cage all the way down. It was just like real bad tyre shake the whole length of the track. So, but hey, these things are sent to trials. 680 it ran. How was that for a guess? God, excuse me, we'll have to hurry here in a minute. Okay.
Moving in now, we're looking at heads-up race this one. Both running the same class. Both running speed holders. Heads-up race. And a reaction time, 0.44 for Alan Gray, but look at the
Warren takes the Clan and Main Monza to a comfortable win over the Gray Brothers Silver Streak Altered. And in one of the best races of the round, Tom Easton takes on Rod Marchant's Dragster, now finding form after a string of problems over the past few months.
Tom Easton in the WBA 685 car. All right, Tommy Easton. The Warlords, Croydon Markets, Double B Altered. Tommy Easton in the Warlord car. 720-765, 0.45, one light on the Christmas tree start to the Altered. End of stage, Tommy Easton. Here they go. Coming in now. What's this on the tree? Off the national record. Wow. Tommy Easton keeping that car nice and straight. And gets through into round 3.
Ooh, get him, Tom? Yeah, we worked hard for that one. We had to head off between rounds. Unreal. We're still working on the car when we're rolling into the staging lanes. Whew. Makes it worth it. Rod, what happened? You right?
Yeah, sure. I got beat, eh? I was going to say. We've been filming with the car a little bit, and I guess he's run a little closer to the record than what I have been. And the car pulled down a little at the start line, and once they pulled down the start line, that's it. Yeah, that kills the run.
You had the good lane too, did you?
I had the good lane and everything. I had everything going for me, blew it, eh? You never know. One day I might make it good.
Then it's showdown time. Round 1 of Funny Car. Steve Reed to take on Victorian Robin Kirby. The winner goes straight to the final.
Kirby in 5-1-2. Running alcohol. Really got that car fired. They believe this car can run 6-4s eventually, which is just unbelievable for an alcohol. Kirby moving up. Stephen Reed set to go. Whether Robin Kirby wants to do another one or he's ready to stage. No, just a middle little short one. Let's see how we go. Stephen Reed, he's right. Waiting for Kirby to back up. Finding the reverser. Heads up race. First 3 stage, 1 stage. Stephen Reed the stage now. Yellow, green card, oh boy.
So, Steve Reed is in the final and takes on the winner of the next race.
Oh, need to say any more to that. Just that sounding extremely strong. The Blue Thunder sounding a little bit, oh, I don't know whether it's supposed to sound like that, but it snaps and crackles and pops and does everything. Now let's see if he backs her up without the pops this time. Up comes the hatch, let the smoke out. Now, Jeff, slowly does it, my boy. Don't do a right-hand turn. Blue Thunder and the Australian Airlines. Coming back now, Jeff and Jill Pat, Jimmy White. Oh, and doesn't it rock and roll and make some noise? Coming in now, Jeff and Jill Pat, Blue Thunder. Second semi-final of Funny Car here at Willowbank today, the Nationals for 1988. Nothing sounds like a nitro car. Particularly this is one of Jeff Pratt's toys. It really makes some noise. Okay, they should just about be right. They'll come on stage now. I've done one good burnout, one little short one. Time to put them in on the line. Moving in now. Jeff from Jill Pratt's Blue Thunder. Jimmy Walton. He's in and ready. Waiting for Pratt now as soon as that yellow stage goes on. Walton moves out again, moves in again now. Goes free stage. Waiting for the stage. One stage. Two stage. Yellow stage.
The upset of the meeting, Jeff Pratt beats top qualifier Jim Walton off the line, then outpowers him to the finish and runs his best time ever, 6:39, 221 miles an hour.
Red light.
Oh, miles in front of me.
Yeah, you won.
Yeah. You won and you won.
Oh, right. 224.
I didn't know what was happening. I didn't see you. I thought I pulled a red light because I let it.
Yeah, I thought you pulled a red light.
Yeah. I just saw it and hammered it. You right? Okay.
Good luck.
Pro Stock top qualifier Wayne Daly takes the semi-final bye to the final.
Beautiful Thunderbird. The Wayne Daly Lance Pit car, top qualified and is under the national record if he can back that up this time. And they've done it well. RCE Engineering, and that's Wayne's company.
The car is constructed with a space frame, as we call it, around a breakaway body, as we call them. 4-speed Lenco transmission and one hell of a Cleveland engine.
Can you give us a rough idea of the size of the engine, Wayne, and perhaps a little bit about the internals, the carburetors and so on?
Yeah, the carburetor's a Dominator 1050 Hollies on a fabricated handmade manifold. SVO motorsport heads, which are a fairly late addition to the car. The engine, the short engine, is a brand new 351 short engine, has Howard rods, Benoli pistons, etc.
Everything's imported from the States?
Everything except the cylinder block, which is just a basic 2-bolt Ford block.
And you've assembled the engine yourself? It's all your own engine development?
Yeah, done in our workshop, Race Car Engineering.
How much horsepower do you estimate the engine's putting out?
On the track, it's showing 687 horsepower on the track. We believe the engine probably has the best part of 700 horsepower.
National record here. He goes, no, I think he's, let's see how he goes. Let's see what he's doing. No, a 928, he probably saved up the race. And a Superplus car from Victoria, and Van Dyken, Superplus Monaro, up against Robbie Tucker in the Exclusive Family Cars, Calais. Robbie Tucker is from Shola Park. He's a carpet layer, and he's 29 years of age. He has no time for any other hobbies. Winner of the terrific Family Cars Series for 1987. And Van Dyken, motor mechanic, 35 years of age, from Creighton in Melbourne, with a 354 cubic inch Holden and against a 353 cubic inch Calais. Box dollars in this Calais, apparently something in the vicinity of $40,000 worth of race car you see out there. a lot of money. But they do it for sport, and they do it because they enjoy it. Not professional races, but boy, this car is something to do. You're going to build a race car, build it looking like this. Semi-final to go in against Wayne Daly in the final. Heads up race, pro stock, Nationals 1988. Van Dyke out in the way, Robbie Tucker chasing him now. Calais at 150.75 miles an hour, nothing at the other end. Van Dyke in the final, two black cars. We've got a Holden and an RO, and we've got a Ford Thunderbird for the final of Pro Stock.
Just ran off a little. Didn't quite, must have made a wrong decision, I'd say.
Funny car, the Oldsmobile Starfire. That funny car is really sounding strong now.
Well, Tommy Easton's a tough competitor. I've raced against him before. Sometimes he gets a little crooked, and that'll be to our advantage. But he's on the pace today, that's for sure. He'll be a tough customer.
Funny car right the way down, but he's backing her up. 7.65, the national record in that. So almost heads up. We'll watch the reactions for this run. Gary Milosevic, Agent Lane, Hollingston, spectator side. Tom moving in first. Gary Milosevic creeping closer to the staging race now. We'll watch the reactions. Red light.
Tom Easton throws away his chance of final round showing with a red light start, but he keeps the boot in to run 765 and 181.81 mile an hour.
Warren Meng from Mackay, Brandon Meng, Sandra. Gary Phillips, both guys mean business this time. An 861 dial in for the funny car. Eight 6-1 and a 7-1-0, so it's Gary doing the chasing. Gary Phillips hooks the ball. It runs at 687. That's 189.47 miles per hour.
Gary Phillips earns his place in the final with a comfortable win over the Crown and Ming Monza.
At 154.10 to the guy from Mackay.
And after 4.5 hours of hectic racing, it was time for the finals of the other eliminator brackets.
In the final of modified bike. David Molina on 9.42 and on 11.67 getting the start from a 10.22 from Brian Drews. The final, who will be the national champion? To determine right now. Brian Drews chasing him down. Can David Molina take his first Christmas tree? Here comes Brian Drews. How do you think he's got him? New South Wales looking good, going through the bottom end. Runs a 10.37 on a 10.22. Brian Drews is the new national modified bike champion at the National. And a red line to the terrific down the cars. Ross Munster wins with a very easy one. 0.41 reaction time for Ross Munster, and that's typical of what he can do. So he's got another big trophy to Bob Blackley from South Australia getting the start. 0.471 light on the three, away he goes. Greg Hopp chasing down. The little car on its way down. 0.48.
Modified Eliminator was won by Mackay racer Greg Haupt, driving a small block Chev-powered T-Bucket. The smallest race car at the Nationals, the Kawasaki-powered Altered of South Australian Bob Blackley, took runner-up spot.
Gavin Spann, let's see, what are they running on? A 10.74 and an 8. Gavin Spann's got to give him 2.34 seconds. 2.34 seconds start. Gavin Spann has got to catch him. Boy, is he going to have his hands full. He's got the national record. He'd love to have another Christmas tree. Who will be the competition bike champion for 1988 here at the 88 Nationals? Getting a few stones off the tyre, Warren Athwick. And stage now. Let's see, a big start on that tree. Gavin Spann, 0.42, 0.43, most of these guys. Here comes Gavin Spann. 25 on a 10.74 record. He's run half a second under the record, and Gavin Spann an 8.28, and he's about 0.12 under the record. So Gavin Spann has to be content with runner-up, and it was worth a trip from Perth, Baloo. Tommy Coonan looks like being the new national champion. Warren Sickner's car wouldn't start, won't go. Tommy Coonan stages and ran out of fuel. Apparently the Commodore is out of fuel. Tommy Coonan goes in and will become, once again, the national Super Sedan champion. As he goes down, give him a round of applause. Coonan, the Sportback, unfortunately, no fuel in the Commodore. Couldn't make the final. And Tommy Coonan is the new national Super Sedan champion. Runner-up in commiseration to Warren Victor. Kelvin Sweeney, okay. Alistair Smith waiting for him now. Kelvin Sweeney in the big Chevelle BP service station on the side. Kelvin Sweeney, 355, giving in Chevelle. Kelvin Sweeney. Okay, Alistair Smith. 9.36 and the Chevelle 10.54. 1.18 seconds start for the Chevelle. Alistair Smith to do the chasing. Kelvin Sweeney, very sporting of him to change lanes. He was quite happy to do so. He moves in to look a little bit of water or something coming out of the Chevelle. Let's get him going and in at stage. Staged and pre-staged. Okay, set to go for Kelvin Sweeney. Final of Superstock, who will be the new national champion. Alistair Smith in and set to go. Kelvin Sweeney gets the green. A red light to Alistair Smith. Kelvin Sweeney is the new national champion in the Chevelle. Alistair Smith red lighting away.
Superstock Eliminator falls to the Chevelle of Newcastle racer Kelvin Sweeney when Alistair Smith from the Gold Coast red lights his Monaro in the final.
He's got everything now. All right, Mark Miller. Nice big burnout. Goes one good long. Tell you what, that bike's sounding a little stronger than we've heard so far. Again.
In a frantic thrash to make the final of Top Bike against hot favourite Mark Miller from the States, the team of Hoskins and Allen have thrown in their spare 900cc Kawasaki engine, loaded the tank with nitro, and what else can they do but go for it?
Top Bike final. Very close to completing the 1988 Nationals. Ed Allen, the Warlord bike, and Mark Miller. Okay, set to go. Heads up, Top Bike final. Moving in. Tommy Pete just lining it up. Mark's one stage. Mark Miller's just about staged now. Oh, and Pete said, well, I'm going to give him a run.
What a history-making run. Mark Miller takes the win running his fastest time ever on methanol fuel, a 7.06. And although losing by his red light start, Tommy Pete runs a 7:14, blasting their previous best time of 7:60 to oblivion. This is the fastest side-by-side motorcycle pass anywhere in the world.
Mark ran a 7:06.
7:30.
Still a good pass.
Think you left a little early, Peter?
I was waiting. I said, Jesus Christ. I seen some yellow, and I said, let's go.
Final of top bike, Tommy Pete. You just got beaten by Mark Miller. What are your feelings on it?
Well, left a bit early on a red light, but still, not to worry. One of those things, I just got and tried to anticipate it, but it was a bit too hot on the throttle.
Okay, here we go. Final of Superstock. National champion coming up. Can Wayne Daly land fifth. And therefore Thunderbird wins their first ever Pro Stock title. Starting to cool off the track just somewhat. And the
Door slammer time. Pro Stock final. 2 black cars, but that's all they've got in common.
Who's got lane choice for the final?
I have.
And you'll be putting Wayne in which lane?
The left.
Hans has got lane choice, and he tells us, we spoke to him early, that he's pretty pleased that he's running a Ford, and he's also going to give you the inside lane. Does that worry you at all?
Oh, I don't think so. We haven't run that lane as yet, but it's going to be a great final anyway, whichever lane we get.
The car running well, no problems?
Not as yet. No problems.
How important is it to you that you're racing a Ford in the final? Does that make you a little bit more determined to do well?
Well, I'm always determined to do well, but he stole me colour black, so now we might liven him up a bit, I think.
Van Dyke doing another burnout. Moving up. Wayne says that'll do me. One burnout I'm happy with. No, he's going to do another one himself. A little bit of cycling out to go on now. Okay, here we go. Moving into stage. Heads up, Pro Stock for final. Coming in now. Who will get it? Okay, Daly's in, Van Dyke's in. Here we go. Will the experience of Van Dyke get in there or not? Now here comes the motor. The two birds can come home from there. What a great battle. Van Dyke gets there. Daly's in, Van Dyke's in. Here we go. Great top end from Daly. 154 miles an hour, 896. An 896, the runner-up for Daly. Winner to Hans Van Dyke. A great top end from Daly, 154 miles an hour, an 896. An 896, the runner-up for Daly. Winner to Hans Van Dyke.
Thank you.
How did the car run?
Not a problem.
Tell me about it.
Well, the old hole shot. I don't know what we ran, but I was ahead of him. That's all you got to work. All you got to worry about. I was in the front.
First nationals for you?
Second. 85 and now this.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks, Dennis.
Competition eliminator final at the 88 Nationals. Phillips in the crowd lane. Majakovic in the tower lane. Gary Phillips' class record is 7:10, and Gary Majakovic's class record is 7:60. Phillips has a half-second chase.
Moving in for the final, who will be the new competition national champion. Polter 10's ultimate run for the national championship. Moving in now. Pappas free stage. Majakovic. from Western Australia and one from Townsville. That's as far away as you can get, we said. Okay, set to go.
Phillips takes the win, 683 and 196.5 mile an hour.
A 798 from Alkovich at 153. Great effort by the guy from Perth, but not able to take it off Gary Phillips. A very happy Debbie over there.
Make it free. I guess I won. What's the Dennis? 683.
This is like a bracket car. I hope I got a mile an hour that time. If that thing didn't run over 200, I'll walk to Perth.
And as the sun sets, it's time for the final race of the 1988 Nationals at Willowbank Raceway.
Okay, here
The
they
Funny
come now
Car
for the
Eliminator Final.
car. Queensland versus New South Wales, Victoria. Probably one of the most successful national titles ever held in this country. The biggest by far in numbers. And look at that alcohol car.
South Australian Jeff Pratt, until one run ago, was having a dreadful year. Crashes, fires, engine blow-ups. Jeff Pratt has survived them all. His previous run of 6:39 to defeat Jim Walton was his best ever. Has his luck changed at last? Can his more powerful but less reliable nitro-burning engine stop the super consistent alcohol car of Steve Reed?
And the Blue Thunder car of Jeff Pratt. Crewed there with assistance from Jim Reed, the fuel driver. Bring him over a little bit. Bring him up, they haven't quite got him in the track. Down with the chute, and he's going to do another little burnout. Stevens is on ready. Oh, get the flames on that funny car. Oh boy. Jeff Pratt is it rich. Stephen Reed here with a chance to take away Double A funny car. And Stephen
The nitro flames are clearly visible from Pratt's car in the deepening twilight as he moves into stage.
Heads up, race to the finish. I think Stephen will beat him out, so whether he can get the other end, he'll have to look for that big speed from Jeff Pratt. Pratt moves in. And the Blue Thunder, Jeff and Jill Pratt from South Australia, Stephen Reed from Brisbane. Pratt's in. Stephen Reed, here we go.
Pratt takes the win, 6:39, 221.13 mile an hour. Steve Reed, another great, 6:85, 204.58 mile an hour.
We worked hard for that. That's an absolute personal best, apart from time-wise, apart from best achievement, isn't it?
That is unbelievable. We burnt a car to the ground beginning of the season. We won the Nationals at the end.